Hey everybody, welcome into Rock Painting 101, where we give you fun, new rock painting ideas that anybody can create. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you do, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Let's get painting.
So today's tutorial is going to be a quick and easy paint pen kindness rock. I asked in the Cursive Love video for some other ideas on Facebook and on YouTube, and unity was one of the words that was suggested. So we got to get a fun base coat on here, so this one is really fast and easy to do. I'm picking 3 of my extra fine tip paint pens, and as you've been watching, I started with one color, just doing vertical stripes as far as my rock kind of surface is allowing, and I'm going back and forth along the surface so that the colors do begin to kind of blend together a little bit as you kind of work while the paint is still wet. So I'm just going back and forth between the 3 colors until I've got the coverage that I'm looking for. Obviously you see I'm doodling the tip off from time to time so I can get back to, back to yellow or back to the blue or pink or whatever. So once you like the look of it, set it aside, let it dry completely before you come back and start your lettering. So hand lettering can be tricky, and sometimes spacing is a big issue that people run into. This style of lettering that I have been showing in these videos takes basic handwriting and shows you how to give it a hand lettering style. So write your word onto your rock, leaving a little bit of space between each letter. Then we're going to start to thicken certain lines and add little loops and swoops. So we're going to start by the top left hand side of this U. We're giving it a little bit of a swoop and thickening the downward stroke. Now I'm using my 1MR white paint pen right now because my white 1M is MIA. You will most likely have to do 2 coats. You might be pulling up a little bit of the color from underneath on your first coat, but just worry about getting your lines the way you want them to be. Now for the N, we're going to have our downward stroke a little thicker, up and then back down. And then we're going to swoop that over to our I, and then the downward side stroke of the I would be a little thicker, and then we're going to swoop over to our T. Now we're going to add a loop here along the top of our T, and then we're going to head back down. Now the left side of the loop, since it's the downward stroke is what's going to be thicker. Now we've got to attach ourselves over here to the Y with a swoop. And then we're going to thicken up a couple of those lines as well. Now, as you kind of play around with this, you can decide if you want to leave certain lines thin or thick. But either way, you can start with that super basic handwriting and jazz it up just a little bit. Give it a more stylish look. This is very easy. Anybody can do this. So once we've got our lines on here, I'm just going to go back through and thicken up certain areas and crisp up some of the lines that we created. You do want to make sure your thick lines are a bit thicker so that the thin ones seem thin. But I like this for a kindness rock to hide around town, and as you see, we've done this rock start to finish minus dry time in less than 5 minutes. So it's a fun, fast rock that you can do. So I'm just touching up the lines here a little bit, and then I'm going to add in a border around this. So I'm just going to loosely spin the rock and create an outline. And since the edge of the lines that I drew on is not a crisp edge, I'm not worried about this being crisp. I want it to be a nice loose circular lines that go around, but it just kind of gives it a more finished look to have it outlined. And then of course, I'm going to continue to touch up. I'll end up giving this all a second coat by the time you see the last picture, but I do like to add little dots in my designs. These are not necessary dots for some reason, just are cute and friendly to me. So we've got a few more simple word rock designs that we're going to be sharing, so make sure you're following along. If you enjoyed this one, let us know in the comments.